actually worked the first time. Ohio, minasan. It is Mortgage Time Comedy here. Happy Saturday. And I promised I'd be doing 3 videos in a row this weekend. I did one yesterday with an unboxing, which was Hot Topic and Box Lunch. So you can check that out. I have my Tiny Toon shirt on, so that was lots of fun. And I am going to be meeting the voice actor for Yakko from Animaniacs. I know they're not the same series, but Steven Spielberg. Can't talk as early. Had a hand in both of those. So it made me think of that. So I'm very excited to meet him in about less than 2 weeks. But today we're going to be talking about Cosplacon. So Cosplacon is a convention that's been going on since 2013. I believe our first year was 2014. If not 14, definitely 15. And we didn't go the very first year. We were going to a convention back in 2012 and 2013 called NatsuCon. And it was only there for like 3 or 4 years, and then it discontinued. But later it came back a couple years later and rebranded in basically the Anime Senpai, which is wonderful. I'll be doing that in October. This is usually my last convention for funsies for the year. And we usually I like to do the run fair on Sundays because usually Sundays are kind of slower and the run fair isn't too far from there. The closest one to me. So we needed to find a replacement convention, myself, my husband, and our good friends Nathan and Tabby. So I did some research, found Cosplacon, and we decided to give it a try, and we absolutely fell in love with it. It's a smaller convention, usually like 1,000 people-esque. But the con chair and the team, Rodney, he is just so full of energy. He's so hyped. He is so funny. He has so many memorable quotes every year. In fact, my friends Tabby and Nathan do the skate competition every year, and I got to be in 2 of them. And one year, and happened to be the year Rodney was gone because he is in the service, which, thank you, Rodney, for your service. We appreciate you protecting us and taking care of our country. The one year he was gone, but they did film it. We did a skit on how hard it is to write a skit. So we were like bouncing. It was just a real fun, quick little skit. I had so much fun. I helped with the script. I got to record. It was so much fun. But anyway, and we put a lot of little Cosplacon Easter eggs in there if you've been there for years, like Smash Bros. And pineapple pie and all this stuff. Rodney's thing this year was taking his glasses off, and he'd be like, "Where's Rodney's?" I guess it's like Clark Kent. And he played this game, and everything he was at called Carrot in a Box. So it was an empty Cheez-Its variety pack box, and I think it was a plush carrot. And you have 2 people on stage, so one person would look inside the box, and they would say, "Okay, is there a carrot in the box?" And then they could lie or they could tell the truth, and then the other person had to guess what it was, if they were telling the truth or not. And you get a prize if you get it correct. The audience could try to heckle you as well. So it was and I mean this with love, it was such a dumb concept, but everybody ate it up. So props to you, Rodney, for something so simple. Like, I've got a squeaky toy carrot for my cat back here. So brilliant. I might do this with my students just for downtime. That'd be pretty funny. But he was giving out Pandora cards. Pandora is the beautiful mascot, which I forgot to grab my badge. I'll do that in a second. So yeah, it's in Jefferson City, which is the capital of Missouri, where I'm from. And it's at the Capitol Plaza Hotel, which is literally next door to the Capitol. It's nice. It's a nice facility. It shows its age, but it's so pretty. It's got a small restaurant. They do a buffet for breakfast. It's pretty expensive. We did it the last couple of years. But it's got this beautiful fake waterfall going down the middle. It's got 2 small, admittedly small for its size elevators. It's got 9 floors. One year we were on the 9th floor, and that was terrifying. They used to have refrigerators and microwaves in a lot more rooms, but I know this year it was like very quick, first come, first serve. So that was kind of hard. And I felt bad because my friend Dan, who's one of the guests, he requested that he didn't get the city. Go buy a cooler at Walmart. So I was like, well, I figured they should save one for the special guest, but that's probably a hotel thing. Our check-in person was funny. He was real rude, but it was intentional to be funny rude. And I'm glad I'm used to people like that. And my husband is too, because he was getting my husband tickled. Because I was like, oh, you're really cool. Like, I was digging it. I was digging this guy. It took me a little while to realize, okay, I knew he was busy, so I thought maybe he was just kind of frantic. I would totally understand that. But then once I got his attitude, I was like, okay, I dig it. But I could see where some people, like timid people, because this is some people's first convention and they're young, teens, college kids, they'd probably be like, oh, what's going on? Look in front of that. She goes, this is my first convention ever, and I did the yay, first timer cheer that I always do whenever I do conventions at my booth. So that was fun. I'm getting distracted. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to ramble for a little bit before I do my stuff. So the Cosplacon. Okay. So the Cosplacon's been going on for 10 years. We've been attending, let's see. I think we did at least 4 for COVID. Yeah. So 16, 17, 18, 19. And then we didn't do 19. No, we didn't do 19. We did 18. 19 was a weird year for us, and I won't go into that. So at least 3. I'm going to say 4. So 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, that's right. 4. And then this year, at least 5 years, maybe 6. So at least half of the conventions run. 2020, obviously, they didn't have a physical one. It was virtual. I did attend some of the panels, maybe 5.5 or 6.5. And I feel like the year after might have been a little bit shorter. A lot of conventions were doing that, shorten their conventions by a day or 2. They normally are 2 or 3 days. Because this convention is technically 3.5 days. It's a Thursday through Sunday convention. And I never heard of that before, unless you're like a super big, expensive con. And Thursday used to be, for a long time, it was free because they didn't start till like 3 or 4. So you'd go in for like 3 or 4, you check in, and then you can stay till like 8 or 9. On occasion, they used to have 18 plus candles on Thursdays, which, obviously, you had to have a wristband and show ID for that, which I'm glad they're very good about that. This year it did have a price, but I think it started at 4 and ended like at 11. But they had like a welcome dance, but it was all inclusive. So it was it was supposed to be friendly, just fun, have fun, have dance, welcome for everybody. So I think that's awesome. And I like that it used to be free. I get financially if that became hard for Cosplacon, totally get that. But I was talking to a good friend of mine who has a lot of conventions, and I said I think the goal was, even though it's summer and there might still be people in summer school or getting out of work, Fridays at conventions are usually, they're good, but they're a little slow compared to Saturday until, after work time. And so 3, 4, 5. And again, makes sense. I feel like Rodney wanted to kind of give people who maybe couldn't afford a full ticket or maybe first timers who just, they were curious about a convention, but they're nervous. And that's very common. I've met a lot of people who are first con goers at Cosplacon. It's their first con, and they're a little deer in the headlights. But Rodney makes them feel really welcome. The convention crew, just everybody kind of bands together and makes each other feel welcomed. And I love that. They even have a welcome party. They have a panel first thing that says, hey, what to expect at a convention. So that's really fun. The dances for everybody. They have a couple little panels here and there so you can get a taste of that. The only thing you don't get the taste on that Thursday is the vendor room. They will have the vendors set up, but it isn't open to Friday. And that's sure. So I like that concept. I really did like that concept. You did have to pay for a Thursday ticket this year, like I said. But again, it's understandable, I suppose. Okay, I'm going to pause for just a minute because I do want to explain, or at least want to show off my gifts that I got for my anniversary, and then I'll go back to Cosplacon. So Derek and I's anniversary is June 18th, Father's Day weekend. I know my mom was not happy at the time that I did that, but it just seemed right. And we had to book the hall for the reception 2 years in advance because that's just how it is with weddings. So we shared a room for the first time, just the 2 of us, which was really nice. Usually we share with friends, and my brother comes with us. But it was really nice just to have the 2 of us. I did get a queen size bed, but I asked for a lower floor because they asked me, so I thought, okay, so I'm still getting my queen size bed. No, I'm not. We got 2, I think doubles. The doubles are standard. I don't know. I think doubles, which is a little bit smaller than what we normally have. But, it was so nice. It was, it's a room and everything. So we decided to make that our anniversary trip as well. Be with good friends. Be with our good friends Sam and Dan, our Tabby and Nathan, and their beautiful baby Theo. And it was his first convention. Yay! And we came and exchanged gifts when we came back. So for Derek, I got him. He loves this series. It's a Descendants of a Bookworm. I'll do anything to become a librarian. It's a really cute isekai, and to be honest, I'm not a big isekai fan overall. It's just so oversaturated, and especially recently, and I'm just kind of like, okay, But this one's cute. That's a girl who loves books. A bunch of books I think fall on her, and she dies, and then she transforms. And her body or soul is transferred into this little, like, I think 5-year-old girl in this world that kind of has magic, but they don't have books unless you're super duper rich. So she's so desperate. Like, she learns how to make paper. She learns how to make ink with like primitive tools, because magic's also not very common either. But then she ends up having magic, and at this point she has to go like this academy to kind of hone in her skill. And the academy has a library, so she's like, okay. She has this cute little family and this cute little boy who is her friend that takes care of her, while trying to keep her secret intact. I think like 1 or 2 people know, but it's really adorable. Derek just gushes when he watches this, so it makes me happy. He does like some cutesy stuff. So I got him the 3rd season when it came out like a couple months ago. So I'm really excited that we watched that together. And then this just came out May 30th. So it's the new Violet Evergarden movie that they've been working on for a while, and it's a special edition. So it's Blu-ray and like 4K, which we don't have 4K obviously, but I first bought him the original Blu-ray 4K, just plain, and it was like $40. And then this came on sale, and it was also $40 after I got the other one. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'll sell the other one. But yeah, this one's got the collector's box, which we have the full series in the collector's box. 12 unique art cards, filler box designed to fit into the Violet Evergarden. Oh, complete series edition. Well, that's cool. I didn't realize that. So I love it. And then there's a couple of 12 postcards. Wow. There's a couple postcards. I think we got 4 and some stickers in the full set. Awesome. I love that. It'll just slide into the other one. But Violet's beautiful. It's about a girl who, after it's a post-war story, and the major who took care of her, she can't find him, and he asked her a question before he disappeared in a very horrific battle that she was with him for. And it's, what is love? And she's trying and trying and trying to figure out what this means. She's kind of very mute about, like, just monotone about a lot of things, because she was raised as a child to be a weapon, essentially. She ends up losing her arms in combat and has metal arms and hands and fingers. So a friend of the colonel's takes care of her. He owns a mail, like a postal service, where they also write letters for people who maybe don't know how to express themselves. So she has to kind of learn through these really tragic and beautiful experiences with other people's lives how to write proper letters. And it's very touching. You will cry. And the animation is one of the most gorgeous animations I've ever seen in an anime. So I love everyone. Totally recommend it. And for me, he got all DVDs, I got all books. So I got the next card captor Sakura clear cards of volume 13. I think there's 2 more, they said, coming out. And when I was looking at the Japanese releases, so that's exciting. I really am liking it, but the books aren't as long as the original, and there's such a broad release time between most of them that, to be honest, even though I love card captors, and this magic's very wonky. I'm so used to the original. I keep forgetting I can tell you the premise and a lot of the details. I also watched the anime too. That helped. Which I heard is in the 2nd season finally. Yay. But yeah, the last 4 or 5 volumes, I read them and I love them, but then they don't stick because it's 7, 8 months later. Oh, now I got this one. I've already read other stuff, so my brain's not as good as it used to be. So I already went back even last release on 12 and reread from 6 to 12, because I think the anime is around 5 or 6. So I remember that pretty well. So I'm going to probably have to do that again. I'll definitely read it, and of course when it all comes out, I'll definitely read it again. So Cardcaptor Sakura is my first anime and my first manga, so it's very special. Yay, and it's Spider-Man. And I love this outfit. It's probably one of my favorite outfits of hers. And then I got the Lord Olympus Volume 4, which it's so funny. Ares is hugging Persephone on here because that's not how that happens. But Ares is a brute, but we love him anyway. And I like this one. I just put my Lord. I cleaned my office for like 10 hours almost straight yesterday, guys. Just took a few breaks to grab things. I listened to audiobook the whole time, finished a 5-hour audiobook during that. And I ate a salad for like 20 minutes at one point. So I was just kind of in the zone. So that was fun. But yeah, this is volume 4. Everybody's complaining that all the other ones have this beautiful, like, dark navy blue cover. So they match and they look really pretty together. And then we have this one. I like this green. I think it's a beautiful green. But it is kind of like, I wouldn't mind like if they slowly transitioned from the black dark pitch of the night, which makes sense for the series, and then maybe get to this shade. And I know volume 5 is like this pretty lavender with some white in it for Hera. I'm not a huge fan of the cover, and nothing against Hera, but it's a little interesting concept. So, but I did buy myself the special edition, so I finally had money for it, and I get 20% teacher discount at Barnes & Noble. So Barnes & Noble has special editions. The covers are different, and on occasion you get like maybe a deleted scene or concept art or something, like a couple pages in the back. I don't think the last one had it. But anyway, so Derek saw that, and I was super happy. He was mad, and I knew why, because I was like, he probably bought this for me. But then when I explained it to him, as it's the special edition alternate cover. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, I don't know why you need it. I was like, I don't either, but there's some things I like if it's Percy Jackson related, or by any of my favorite authors. I like that. Like I just got the Sun and the Star, which is the Nico and Will spinoff book for Percy Jackson series. And I met a cosplayer who was volunteering at Cosplacon dressed as Will. And he's like, oh, you know who I am. Same way I could call him half because of his shirt. And he just kind of grinned. Or her, sorry. Her dressed up as Will. Genderman. No, not Genderman. No, it wasn't Genderman. Just dressing up as character. Sorry. I get confused sometimes. But they said they were just, hello, socks. They said they just read the book, and it was so good. I had it on my nightstand the whole trip in case I couldn't sleep. But God, I was getting exhausted at 8 o'clock at the convention, I think, every night. I did sleep, actually, fairly well, just not enough every time. And I even tried an audiobook I had to listen to and do a review for. I eventually did on our drive home Sunday. Because I only have like 3 hours, and I have 2 hours of it. Anyway, and I tried, and I wanted to, and I will. So that one and Midnight Sun are like at the top 2 that I'm going to do. So, yay, it's an anniversary, I guess. Okay, back to Cosplacon. So, Thursday this year, since it was our anniversary, and Cosplacon kind of dropped a bomb on us about a week before, they announced that this would be the last Cosplacon. And it was a very heartfelt post and letter to the fans, to the goers. And they're like proud of what they built, of course, but they just said it was their time. They said it's not a financial issue. It's not, nobody's arguing. It's not, anything negative. It's just their time. So everybody, kept, like, we were super pumped, so we were trying to be extra pumped, but there was that in the back, oh, it's the last one. So because of that, and I don't know when I'm going to go to Jefferson City next, because I love our capital, but from an entertainment standpoint, they keep closing down a lot of the stuff. So there's not much to do anymore. I saw almost everything I wanted to in one weekend, even though it's a beautiful area. So Thursday, first we went to a pizza place called the Pizza Company, because I heard it was the best pizza in town. They had a buffet normally from like 11 to 2, which was like $13 including drink. But we just ended up getting a specialty half and half. So Derek got double pepperoni, and I got a bacon cheeseburger pizza, which was amazing. Ron and Tabby got to come join us, and Theo and Mercury, their bird, at the end there. And then at 2 o'clock, we went and took a tour of the Capitol. I had to book that. It's free. You just had to book it. So there's 4 levels, and I got to go see the beautiful artwork. And the rotundras, I love that word. It's one of my favorite words in the world, rotundras. The museum was downstairs. They had the Missouri Museum. They had a Veterans Museum. It was all really cool. And I had a blast, and Derek was a good sport about it. It was just really hot, so you had to go outside off and on, and there's lots of stairs. So, yeah. So I got lots of pictures if you're on my Facebook. I didn't know this. Actually, I learned a couple things. So there was like a Unity Cup thing back in like the 1800s, and it was from a lion spout. And so you would press the button, the water would come out at the top of the lion spout, and then it had a basin, kind of like you do with a water fountain. But after years, it's corroded. But some of them they worked, so that was really cool to see that. He had to explain all the beautiful murals. This is our fourth capital. It's the third one in Jefferson City because two of them burnt down. I don't know what our deal is in our country with Capitol buildings burning down. I thought it was pretty funny. We got to see where they have all their meetings. They're not in session right now, but we got to go to the balcony where the public can go and see the beautiful statues. There's a mosaic of like the Queen of Missouri, and I was really curious about that. She was beautiful, and the guy's like, yeah, that's the only place she's at. I'm like, well, I want to know more about this girl. So maybe I'll write a children's book about the Queen of Missouri someday. So that would be really fun. The stateroom meeting mural, which is all encompassing, shows Missouri's progress. That was really nice. Actually, all the murals were beautiful. So apparently they budgeted or got a grant for so much, and they had like $1 million left over, but they had to use it, so they spent it all on all this beautiful mural artwork that you see throughout the Capitol. And I was like, well, that's a good way to, spend money, beautify your Capitol building, which is fantastic. The statues outside are gorgeous. There's like a police officer memorial. There was a Founding Fathers fountain. That was really cool where we parked, which was far away. we didn't know where to go. Gift shop was cute. Got a couple of little things there and all that jazz. Because I love teaching Missouri history to my students, and I wanted to make sure that I went there. So that was also fun. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I was very hot. I got fatigued pretty quickly. Because of the heat and all the stairs, but I survived. I was just sweaty. So we did that Thursday at 2. We got done at about around 4. Then we checked into the hotel, and then we went to our room, and then we got our passes, and then we were going upstairs trying to find the second panel room, which is on the second floor. I think it's like 4:30-ish at this point. Oh, Cosplacon has a password. So you have to read all the rules in the middle to put a random password every year. This year is Pikachu. And then I hear, Morgan Convict. And I'm like, first I'm hearing things. Because, it's a hotel. It's loud. I look around. Couldn't hear it. Try again. Morgan Convict. And I'm just like, I'm looking down because that would be, since I'm up, that would be the assumption. And a couple people look around too, and I'm like, Derek, don't say my name again. Derek's like, I don't hear anything. And finally, they say it again. Like, this is not God. I look straight across, and it's Sam Ryan. He's waving at me to come over, like he's on the 3rd floor, like right across. And I wave and laugh, and some people are looking around like, what's going on? And Derek's like, well, you should figure that out. I'm like, you didn't even hear him. So it was great to see him. And Kiba is beautiful, Akita. It's been a couple years since he's seen us, but he sniffed us a little, shyly. But then he remembered me. He looked at my arm. And then I sat by him. He kept looking at my arm. And I was like, oh, it must be because I have lotion, because some of my friends' dogs do that. And Sam right in. He's actually a service dog. He said, actually, he's trying to sense your illness. So he, in case you need him. And I was like, oh. And he kind of sniffed at Derek and he walked off, which Derek was hilarious. We were part of their pack. They bonded with us very well. We went to visit them a couple years ago in the fall, which is wonderful. I love their house. So we just sat and talked for a while, and it was great to see Dan. Yeah, I felt bad he had to buy a cooler. He didn't realize his panel was at 6. He thought at 6:30. He thought it was 7:30. So because we left at like 6:10 after talking, so I went back downstairs since it wasn't too crowded. I asked one of the nice convention volunteers And she's like, no, it's 6:30. And I said, oh, okay. I said, because Samurai Day's little schedule says 7:30. We were up there. She's like, oh, wait, you're friends with Samurai Dan? I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, oh my goodness. And then she treated me like I was the secretary or something. And like, oh, we gotta keep him happy. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to keep Dan happy. So Dan he is a trained in the samurai sword arts. He's trained in martial arts of all kinds, weapons, combat. Like he's incredible. He's got like about 30 years of experience and passion. So we did an kind of like a mixed martial arts panel on Thursday. And he used Derek as his dummy / mannequin, and Derek was nervous, but he loved it. So Derek got to hold the fake knife at him. So he was teaching us like famous moves like the X block and others in movies, and talking about how they do them incorrectly and what would happen if you did do that in real life. But if you train, he did show you there is a slim chance sometimes, but a proper way to defend yourself with moves that are like that or similar. So that was very informative, but he's always very funny, got banter. People heckle him, interrupt him all the time, and he just eggs it on. And he's also got that humor that you're like, oh, he's being mean. But when you get used to him and you befriend him, you get used to it. He called me all kinds of crap, and I'm just like, if I didn't know you, I'd be crying in the corner right now. But I just take it. I got him a couple of times, so it's all good. So that was Thursday, and then we had a comedy panel like at 9. But we got Chick-fil-A. We ordered it from DoorDash and got it for DoorDash. And we were watching Friends. There was nothing else on, like nothing else on. It was a Friends marathon weekend for Father's Day. And I was sitting there eating my chicken, and I was literally nodding off. And Derek's like, I don't think you're going to make it. And I was like, no. And I promised Dan to go to every panel. He's got like 8 or 9 of them. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. So I finished my chicken. I rolled over on after my jammies were on, brushed my teeth, put Friends on, and after 10 minutes, I'm like, I can't stand this anymore. No offense to Friends, but it'd be in the mood to watch it, I feel like. And I rolled over and I fell asleep. I remember him coming in, Derek, like at 11 apparently, and he just was like tired. I said hi, fell back asleep because he wanted us to lay in the same bed. I was in a different bed, and he's like, I don't think you're gonna get up, and I was like, I went back to bed. But yeah, it was fun. That was lots of fun. And then Friday, I wore my Totoro dress, got lots of compliments, went to the vendor room. I wanted to they had a Conundrum Cafe, does it every year. They had a Disney villain one, and it looked really good. And they had a Japanese one. I wanted to do either one, but their line, which is on the second floor, the panel room where they have it, was like all the way snaked around the corner balcony the whole 3 hours they were open. I'm like, I just wanted a to-go order. Like, I just wanted beignets and a boba, or takoyaki and a boba on the Japanese day. And I kept checking off and on, but even towards the end, it was packed. So normally you just buy a ticket, like for $10-15, and then I guess you used to pick like your drink and your entree and stuff. And I'm like, I don't even need to sit down. But everything was individually priced this year, so I think they should have bought ticket or let you buy tickets for a spot. Maybe that would pay for your drink, and then from there, if you want to buy more, you can sit and do that for a while, or you can grab and go. I mean, but it was the last year, so I'm glad people took advantage of it. I really wanted to do that. Especially the Disney villains. I think that would have been really fun. Dan did a samurai sword class. He did a multiple attacker class, and Derek did that. I took some pictures. So that was fun. We did the skit competition happened with, I think, 8 skits. Tabby and Nathan always do one. It's from Cells at Work. They were white cell and red cell. We got to play with Theo, so we sat him down in the back just in case it got too loud for him because people were cheering. It's a little loud. But he did great. He was a champ. He loved it. He was just kind of making noises and giggling. And he clapped at the right time, and his mom and dad made their final joke, because that was hilarious. He was having a good old time. He's such a good baby. He had a lot of fun. We got to tour him around the vendor room once or twice, and everybody was gushing. And we're like, oh, it's his first time. And we were taking full advantage of that. Saturday, when we had him for a little while, because I don't even know it was Friday, but it was sometime. He was staring at the twinkle lights, and it was just like, he was just, nothing else was phasing. It was so cute. And we're like, oh, he has attention deficit shiny disorder, which is something Samurai Dan and Jillian taught us. Jillian and his beautiful wife could not attend. She had to work. They've been doing cons back to back to back to back for a long time. They've barely been home. They're exhausted, but they get income that way. And Jillian's only allowed, I think, 1 week off now a month. She was able to sneak 2 in, and there were big conventions, which I only totally understand. And this was Kiva's first time without his sister, Marina, bugging him. So Dan's probably like, yeah, it's boys' weekend. He's probably excited. And I have his sister mess with him all the time. So I was like, yeah, I feel that. But Dan did multi-class, so you get bokens, the wooden practice swords, and he teaches you techniques. I've seen it quite a few times. His assistant wasn't there yet. He asked if I could be his assistant, so that was lots of fun. He has DVDs, which we've gotten over the years. He's got 12 or 13 now. I sold 22, so I know what I'm doing with conventions. I know how to use Square, so it was like I set it up. He goes, "He's a woman's touch. I just got to throw it on here." So some of them that he has is like Samurai Basics. This is a really good one. Samurai 2 Swords. And he will sign them for you if you ask. He is going to be on Discord and eventually be getting a Patreon to support his martial arts studio, so that's awesome. Samurai Self-Defense, this one's very good, and they both signed it. We have Samurai Comedy Club Unrated. There's only 2 left. I had to dig for them because this couple really wanted them, and I finally found them, and they both bought one. And the couple were like, we're not sharing. Muay Thai, kickboxing. I always think Muay Thai is fascinating. Knife combat, sword cleaning and maintenance, which Derek has a Japanese sword, and ninja sword. So I'm trying to figure out which ones we're missing. There's 2 ninja weapons of death. I think we're missing basics 2. So that would be 11. Oh, not, I don't say fist, like brass combat, knuckle combat, brass knuckle combat, I think, kind of thing. I thought there's another one too, but we're missing, it looks like, at least 3 or 4. So, but you can get these with Samurai Dan and Jillian. You can look up on Facebook and talk to them about that. Follow them on Discord soon. I don't know their handle off the top of my head. Or server. Sorry, server. I was the only one in my group. We did a logos challenge with our girls in summer school, and I was the only one, even with the teachers, who knew what Discord was. So I had to explain that. So that was fun. Oh, gosh. And then we have to do the opening ceremony, which is just, introduce the guests, have fun, get pumped. Carrot in the box this year. DO for your BO. I say that a lot, make sure you wear deodorant. Stay hydrated, so it's supposed to be hot. Don't be stupid. Things like that. And then they did iron cosplay. So they pull people up in teams like 4 or 5. They do 3 teams. He just throws like random props and Dollar Tree stuff. And then you have so much time to create your cosplay out of that stuff. And in the audience, we have a applaud meter for the winner. We caught the tail end of that because we were busy with something about that. But that was lots of fun. Always seeing that. He was giving away a lot of the stuff that he's been using for years. So that was kind of sad. I feel like I'm missing something, but I'll figure out. Oh, we did go to Fuji's, Derek and I, which is a Japanese restaurant that we really like. It was one of our first Japanese restaurants, and we really like it. The atmosphere, it's in the mall. It was okay this time. It wasn't as good as usual, but it's been 4 years since we've had it, so things happen. Everybody was nice though. And then we got a message from Tabby that someone pulled the fire alarm for the prank, which happens at a lot of cons, unfortunately. And then everybody had to be evacuated for like 45 minutes. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So we just stayed in the mall. We thought dancing would be postponed as her class, but it wasn't. So we got there just a minute or 2 late. But again, we were like, well, we didn't know if it was all clear. We were like 10 minutes away across town. I found they had a V-Stock, so we did go visit there Saturday. And it was very nicely set up. I only bought like 1, 2 things I was wishing. They had a lot of good selections, but just things I already had or didn't really need. So it was so cool. Because like I said, their entertainment shops and stuff are dying. We did have Friday, we had our date morning because we didn't have anything until like 11, which was the history of sharp, shiny, pointy things, where Dan talks about the history of like katanas and weapons of the ninja and samurai. And normally he has more props than he did, but he still had his katana and was explaining things while people were asking good questions. Again, I've seen this panel multiple times, but I would enjoy it when it was recorded, which is great. So Derek and I always have fun listening to that as well, and of course him messing with us, which is always great. Our date. So we went to one of the memorial gardens, which is across from the governor's mansion, which I thought about doing the governor's mansion. It's free too, but you also got to book an appointment for that. And Derek will do so many museums, and I don't want to stress him out, especially because, this is supposed to be relaxing, Cosplacon. So we did that, and then we went to a cafe called Plate and Pour for breakfast, for like a light breakfast. So we knew we'd be eating a lot around 11:30 at Fuji's. And it was like 8:15 when we got here. And I could tell he was like, I don't like coffee. He was real apprehensive. But they have a lot of random good stuff. They had some savory stuff. So I got egg bites, and he got a big gooey cinnamon roll. So once he heard cinnamon roll, he was fine. And then we got tea. Luckily, they had tea. So and it was run by a couple, and they were so nice. And they had local vendors, local artists sell their stuff in the corner, like on shelves, which was I've always loved that because I love supporting local. I say that a lot, and it was Derek. Okay, and I got hello socks. I got a lavender sweet tea, which was one of the most amazing things I ever had. It just gives a little bit of flavor and a little bit of like not intense sweetness, but sweetness to it. And Derek agreed that mine was better, even though his was fine. So he's like, "Oh, that was actually really good." So I'm like, "Yeah, there you go." So let's see. We did that, and then we went to a local book and game store, which was very big. They had cats roaming around, so that's fun. And I bought some presents for people that I found, and I just bought one little keychain for myself, which I might take the idea and turn it into my own sticker or something. Like not exactly, but I liked what it said, and I was like, oh, okay, so I can work with that, and I can wear it with pride because it's who I am. So I enjoyed that. So it was fun always to see a local bookstore and all that jazz. They have a comic book shop too. We didn't go in there, but they do have a comic book shop, which is nice. That evening we wanted to go to a place called Cork and Board, which is it opens at 3 till like 11 or midnight. So it's where you pay a little bit of money, you get to sit and play board games. They have like over 160 board games. They have a small eatery area as well. They'll bring it to you, like with charcuterie boards. They had like an adult grilled cheese that sounded really good. But when we got there at 9, they said they closed their food at 8:30, and I didn't see that on the website. Maybe I missed it, so I was kind of not happy about that, and it became very like a pub at that point, which I get it's a pub because there was lots of alcohol, but I was kind of like, So I think for me or people with kids, that would be fun, like before, like between 3 and 8 is what it seemed like to me. But yeah, I definitely like the concept of it. It was a nice little downtown building. So we ended up just getting McDonald's real quick, and I ended up falling asleep. I get almost halfway through my food. So that was fun. I guess I explored the vendor's room a couple times. Pretty sure that was it on Friday. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it was, and we had little tiny breaks in between. It was spread out enough. Saturday is the big day. We have the cosplay royale competition. Everybody brought their A game. It was fun. It was lots of energy. Theo did great again. I was told. So he did really, really well. That was like 1:30, I think 1:30. Yeah. And then we had at 3, we had the samurai den class, but it was close combatants. So same thing, you get the volunteer to go up, he teaches you moves with the boken. I was in my Pink Ranger cosplay, so I didn't get really pictures, but which kind of makes me sad. But I got a lot of compliments, so that makes me feel good because a couple months ago I posed with Nikia, who was the original yellow turbo and original first turbo and the full yellow Zeo. She was so sweet. She's very petite. She's very thin. She's very beautiful, like healthy, thin, beautiful. And I'm much taller, and I'm got hips and stuff. And the internet said some very mean things, and for a while I didn't want to cosplay. I didn't think about quitting, but I just had to take a break, especially because in that suit I know it shows a lot. I mean, not like skimpy. It's spandex though. But I've always wanted to be Kimberly, and once I put that on, I got it. like a year and a half ago, I felt really empowered, especially now that I had the right helmet. And everybody was like, my friends, I could tell they're truthful, especially my brother. My brother will tell me flat out if I look like crap, because that's how siblings are. And he's like, this is who you're meant to be. This is you. So it made me feel good. I felt good in it, but those hurt. And my friend's like, no, do it. And like this a professional Sailor Scout group that I kept seeing, and I got some pictures with them. They were like, oh my gosh, it's the Pink Rangers. And I'm like, yeah, like we would totally hang out. The Sailor Scouts and Power Rangers. So, and the helmet wasn't too bad to breathe, and I could last about 10 to 15 minutes, which compared to my last one, which was like 2 or 3, and it doesn't fog up too bad. Apparently, hearing me was hard, but I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? I can't. I had to like do my little hinges barely, just I didn't want to get the facade ruined. Just lift it up. All right. So there was that. I do need to text my friend real quick. We have to go to a visitation. I'm going to tell her. I'm going to show my video real quick. Sorry. Oh! This is knocking stuff down. Okay. Alrighty. I don't know. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Saturday I cosplayed for a while. Did pretty good. My shoes hurt the worst, but again, they're boots, and no matter how much I came prepared with cushiony socks. I probably should have got some more insoles, but other than that, like there's not much I can do. I forgot a couple little things of this trip that I needed, but alas, it is what it is. Okay, so we did Cosplay Royale. We did. What she said. Sarah's so good. She's been on here a couple of times doing unboxings and taste tests with me, guys. I love her. She's my patron. She supports me with my Indiegogo and my Kickstarter, so she's fantastic. I love her. And we're alike in so many ways. I can't wait to be a fanboy with her. With her, Drew, Alicia, and Sammy. 5 of our, 7 otaku girls. So that's really rad. Oh, I feel like Dan had another panel on Saturday. We missed the Ninja Olympics, unfortunately, which he was going to do like the Squid Games, he told us. And that's because we went to this restaurant. I remember the name of it. The Maltese. It was like a pub. And it had roast beef, which Derek got open faced roast beef. I got fried catfish, macaroni. Theo got to try lots of food, and he was enjoying the heck out of it. He's so cute. He does like this, and he has to flirt with all the waitresses. He's so charming. I love him to pieces. And it was good. It just took forever for us to get our foods. Unfortunately, by the time we were done, the panel when we would have got there, we would have had like 10 minutes. So we're like, Dan, was a little bitter, quote unquote, about it, and we felt bad. But we kept texting him like, "Hey, oh my God, we're trying." So there was that. We did go to IHOP that morning, and I wanted they used to have a hamburger omelet that I loved. It was everything in a hamburger, so I had to take the onions out. And they had a build your own, but the ground beef option wasn't on anymore, so that's kind of pointless. But I also wanted a strawberry crepe, but I'm like, So I got a savory crepe, and that was actually really good. So just a slight sweetness from the crepe batter on top of, stuff you put in like a breakfast burrito. Cooked very well. It had a white cheese sauce in addition to like cheddar cheese shredded. So that was also a nice combination. So yeah, I enjoyed it. And that's the one place that had Pepsi. I am a Pepsi girl. Sorry. Is how it is. But every place has Coke, and I understand that Coke rules the world. And when it comes to sodas, I have actually had Pepsi, and Derek is smiling. Goes, oh, "Look, babe, they have Pepsi for you." And I was like, "Yeah," but I forgot to take my medicine this morning, and I was out of bottled water because we didn't have a fridge, So I was like, "Okay." So I was a good girl and drank water. Luckily, I got my Pepsi Sunday because I had at least wanted one. I had like iced tea all weekend. I had root beer once at that Veneti's pub and place, just because I was getting really, like, I love iced tea, but I was getting tired of it. And some of them were not sweet at all. Like the one at Fuji's we had was not sweet at all. I did have too, and I was just like, again, I usually don't drink that much soda, but it's vacation, so. But IHOP was really good. It was great to hang out with Brown and Tabby and Theo, of course, and play with him. And he's eating salads now, and he's doing so good with that. He's just a sweet little boy. His birthday's next month. A couple of weeks, we're gonna have his party. Auntie Morgan up with Erica's presents, so we're super stoked about that too. There was a voice actor Q&A I wanted to do as well, but again, just the overlaps of time didn't quite work. So it's okay. I don't recall their names, but I know the girl is Nessa in the Pokemon, I guess the anime that has Sword and Shield in it. I don't know if that's Adventure or Journeys, but anyway, she plays Nessa. She plays the rabbit girl in Ruby in season 7 and 8. My brain right now. I'm sorry. And then the guy also played Hop, which is from the Alola region in the anime Pokemon, and some other characters that I knew. I never actually saw them in person. I saw their tables. No, I take that back. They were bending down and they had masks on, so I didn't get a great look at them. But they were there, and I would have loved to say hi to them. And then the 2 times I was doing circles around the vendor room, they were gone. They said be right back or had a commitment. So I hope their Q&As went well, and Derek would have gone with me even though we didn't know them, because we always like to hear their stories. I love voice actors and what they give to the community, and just have really fun stories. Like Johnny Bosch with the quarter story. I've heard that a zillion times, and every time I hear it, he adds a little bit more, and I know he's being truthful, and it's fantastic. If you never heard the hobo lady or the homeless lady, and I know that's mean, and the quarter story with Johnny Young Bosch, who says like he's Ichigo, he's Lelouch, he's all these huge anime characters, and of course the second Black Power Ranger, Adam. Look it up on YouTube. It's incredible. I've got to meet Johnny 3 times. I got to be his bouncer assistant once. That was incredible. He's good friends with Samurai Dan, so yeah. And we're not promoting these voice actors at Cosplacon, but I'm like, Johnny Bosch! There we go. Okay. My brain is fogging right now. Oh, Dan did volunteer to do at 18 plus, helping an assistant, like being MC. They do like a drink and draw, but that was like a very last minute thing. And Derek and I were like, we are tired after we came back from V Stock at like 7:30-esque. 7:38ish, and all that stuff. So yeah, and then Sunday was short this year. Sunday's usually short, but it was like only 9 to 12. No, 9 to 12:30. Sorry. So I got to help Dan with that one. He asked me. It was pouring down rain, and Derek and I had 2 really cool breakfast places picked out, and they were both like half-hour to 45-minute waits. So we ended up just going to Taco Bell and cramming it in our mouths. My tummy didn't like that because I was nervous. I wanted to help Dan. It was pouring rain. Luckily, we packed most of our stuff like early that morning before the rain came. So Dan was doing Breathing Life in the Storytelling, and I'd done that panel before, and it had like all these points and stuff. This time we just created a character as an audience, and I just kind of helped drew him in, made jokes. The sound guys were in the back being goofy because we were in the main room. So it was a lot of fun. Dan was, of course, always the star because he's brilliant and he deserves it. He's so incredible at storytelling. He is an author as well, if you did not know that, like zombies and werewolves and horror and stuff like that. But we made a rom-com, and he's like, I've never made a rom-com. And it was a transfluid purple werewolf that changes color with their mood. They end up being like a Russian Order male bride to this creep, and there's like 4 or 5 other brides. He ends up falling in love with another one. And I can't remember the villain. We talked about a nurse. We talked about the government. We talked about, because I know they want the werewolf back for his power. And for this war that's going on, because if he goes back, he has to go into the military and he doesn't want to. So it's a very interesting concept. And he goes, okay, how are we going to fall in love? And we were like I got to talk to the audience and be interactive with them at that part. So that was fun. He sat down by Derek. And of course, he had to jump up it a little bit because I said something goofy. But they're like, okay, I'm like, we got to have funny scenes. Like, oh no, I fell. And then, we're like, oh, we got to have some heartfelt scenes. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And then we got to have a hot spring scene. Everybody was like, yeah. And then Dan's like, what are you talking about? And I was surprised. I know he doesn't watch anime, but they're so common. I thought they would come up in conversation. So I just sit and explain how there's a hot springs episode. He goes, yeah, did you know there's a hot springs in Japan that have monkeys in it? I'm like, yes, that's very true. And that has happened in some animes. But, they have osens, hot springs. And, people go on trips. There's usually a boy's side and a girl's side. And there's a wall between the open baths. And usually somebody's like trying to peek through the hole, or somebody slips and their towel falls off, or they get in the wrong bath, or they overhear a really raunchy conversation like, oh, you're so big, I'll leave it at that. And he was just like, he had to walk away for a minute because he was so flabbergasted. And he's like, wait, this is a thing. Because I guess he thought I was toying with him. And the whole audience was like, yes. He's just like, I learned something new. And it was like, and then like during the con, he would just bring up, I'm sorry, I can't get over this hot spring thing. So we got Samurai Dan something, yay. So that was fun. I did all my shopping Friday and Saturday, so I didn't go in the vendor's room that day, which is good for my wallet. And then we had to say goodbye, and Ronnie sat on the stage, and he just opened his heart. And for somebody to, in front of all these people, just cry for love and for the community, cry from the sadness of it being over, cry from the joy that it's brought us all. He said that when he wrote his, it was like a manifesto 10 years ago, he said it was terrible. Now he looks back, it's terrible at all his grammatical errors, and he chuckled. And he said his goal was to make a welcoming place where him and his friends can be themselves, and to build it for other people. And he did that to the T. And people were trying to be nice and telling him not to cry. And I know that's a nice thing to say, but Rodney did defend himself, and he was nice. He goes, guys, I got to let it out. I got to let it out. And like, he still was talking, and he'd still joke and smile. And his team was back there supporting him and giving him hugs, and so hugging each other. Some people that hadn't been here in a while. And they were getting emotional too. And they were like, we weren't expecting us to get this emotional, but they've been a big part of it too. And then at the end, we all hugged the hug line. And Ronnie took everyone. And I mean, like, I don't mean just like, oh, to be nice. Like, he clung to us, because I think we all needed that thank you closure together. So I hugged him, and he grabbed me tight, because he knows me. We're friends on Facebook. He's a great artist. He supported me in my Kickstarter. I will always support him. I always try to do videos for him. And I thanked him for always making our anniversary so special, because it was actually that Sunday, which the audience did clap about. So that was really nice. And I felt his shirt was damp here, just because he kept, wiping his eyes. And I just kept thanking him. And he says, thank you. And he's like, I love you. I love you too. And I knew he meant it. Like, everything he said, I knew he meant it. And like he said, sometimes though, good things must come to an end. So we want to have all these good memories, and we're going to keep it up. And people have been sharing their memories with him. So I think I want to do something like that with Rodney. I think I want to write about some of my favorite memories. We did a skit a couple years ago, so that might help. Maybe I'll write a short story in his honor about his character Pandora and let him have it, or a poem to thank him. I definitely going to buy some art to support him continuously. And I was like, hey, I'm going to always support you no matter what you do. We're going to see each other around. And then they did the Sea of Space Cowboy scene picture from Cowboy Bebop at the end, and then that made everybody else go cry again. And we're like, oh, really? Derek had Rodney too, and he was getting choked up. And we're like, I know it's hard, but can we ask for a selfie? And he did. He gave us his brightest smile. His poor face is still blotchy and red, but he's still smiling, and it's from his heart. So Rodney and all of your crew at Cosplacon, you are beautiful, hardworking people. Your dances, your humor, your kindness, how you'll talk to anybody as long as they'll walk and talk with you. You'll take a selfie with anybody, how you're for cosplay and art and acceptance of everyone. This is the most accepting, diverse convention I've ever been to, no matter how small it is. Our dance parties, your rapping. I mean, he's a good rapper as long as he has a beat. He couldn't do it his last time. He was too emotional. But Rodney, thank you. From the bottom of my heart and our hearts, thank you for giving us Cosplacon and all the great memories. We'll have to find a new summer convention, but we'll always be thinking of you fondly, and I'll always share my memories when they come up. So thank you for that. So we love you, and we love everybody at Cosplacon. I even hugged the staff too, and they were getting emotional. I was like, I cried out, me too. So, and then we took our final pictures at the front of the waterfall, the hotel, and some shots because this would be the last time. A long time. And then we told Dan bye. He had to drive, but we hugged him and told him bye. And we've been talking and everything, which is wonderful. I was love talking to Dan and Jillian. I'm definitely gonna be talking to you, girl. I know you work hard, and we missed you like crazy. We're definitely gonna find a convention in the summer. It's not too far that you guys are at because, to be honest, some conventions we go just for Dan and Jillian because we're not big into certain aspects, but we love the community. So that's hi, Jacob. So yeah, that's a little bit about Cosplacon. And then we went to Central Dairy at the end, like we always do. Got some good ice cream. I got like a caramel brownie, which was really good. And then Theo had his first ice cream, and he loved it. And it was so much fun. Derek and I got to feed him while Mom and Dad got to eat, but we filmed it, of course. So that was fun. Then we came home, and then we exchanged gifts. And then I zoned out, and I still haven't completely unpacked all my stuff. So that's pretty fun. But yeah, so that's con. Cosplacon, no con's perfect, but I will say for their last year, they did their best, and we have a lot of good warm memories of that. Ron even got a crocheted Pandora doll, his mascot. So he was showing her off. Her boots came off too, and he was just playing with it. And we did play more carrot in the box at the end there. But it was a good experience, and it always will be. So I will remember it fondly. So thank you very much for that. Okay, so this video is almost an hour, which I figured it would be because I got to talk about Cosplacon and my anniversary. So I will stop this, and then I am going to, I need to go, no, I might have time. Let me check the time. Yeah, I should be good. Okay, so I'll stop this. I got to do a quick swag video. I'll just stay in the same outfit. I'll change the titles later. And then I have to go to a visitation and start my day. And then tomorrow we'll do a quick, just random unboxing videos of a couple things from like Amazon, Mercari, Etsy, eBay, all that stuff. So, yeah. All right, I'll be back in just a minute. Thank you, guys, and thank you, Cosplacon. Mwah. All right. See you soon. Yeah.